Good morning. Happy Monday. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is a new day. It is a new week. We have survived. God has allowed us to see another week of this year, 2022, which is dwindling down because today is Monday, December the 12th, 2022. So, on behalf of Purpose Journey Counseling, I want to welcome you all this morning. Say thank you so much for joining us. It is 7 a.m. and we are live. But whether you are catching us at 7 a.m. or you watch this later in the day, later in the week, later in the month, later in the year, we want to say good morning to you and welcome. My name is Dr. Natatu North, and I am the owner and therapist of Purpose Journey Counseling, LLC, located in Cincinnati, Ohio. So again, as I stated, we are live. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And the YouTube link for this broadcast is posted on Instagram. So we always ask and we greatly appreciate when you like our pages, like these videos, that you follow us on the various social media platforms, as well as subscribing. Please subscribe. Please, please, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, whether you watch it or not. And the YouTube channel, I've said this before, but just to clarify, the YouTube channel is basically just all the videos. Just all the videos that you're watching on whatever platform you're using, but they're just all there. And it just helps to have subscribers on that channel. So if you could please subscribe to our YouTube channel, that'd be phenomenal. And let's please also share this broadcast and then any other broadcast that you may see that you find to be just inspirational, encouraging. That's the whole purpose of these different messages. And just share them with someone else. And then also, let's please interact and engage in the comment section. So glad you're here. Whenever you're watching this, we're so glad you're here. Excuse me. And it's Monday. So as I stated, it's Monday. It's a new week. So as we get ready to embark upon our new week, we've got to get in the right mindset. We have to be definitely get in the right mindset. So on Mondays, we talk about Monday mood and motivation. And moods are not just happy, sad. Excuse me. They're not just that. That's actually not really what our moods are ever. It's always usually some phrase, or it's basically something to put us on the course to have a successful week. So you all ready? Okay. So our mood today is pay attention. Pay attention. It's like, okay, pay attention. It's pretty straightforward, but our motivation is going to definitely tap into this a bit more and help us understand a little bit more about what this mood really is and what this really means. So our motivation is coming out of the word. It's coming out of 1 Peter 5:8 in the NIV. This is a familiar passage of scripture, but I'm going to read it. 1 Peter 5:8, I'm reading out of the NIV, and it says, "Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour." I just want to read that first part again. Be alert and of sober mind. Then the second part talks about why, what the purpose of that is. But be alert and of sober mind. So as we're looking at the mood of paying attention, and we're looking at this text in 1 Peter, one would say, okay, I think I get what you're trying to say. I get where this is coming from. The bottom line is that a lot of times we're just kind of coasting through life. Some of us can be pretty hypervigilant. We're paying attention to everything, everywhere. We're a little bit too concerned, hyperfixated. We're on one extreme. And a lot of times we're at that extreme, or we're at the total opposite extreme of not paying attention to anything. I'm just in my lane. I'm just focused. And when we're talking about paying attention, we're not talking about being distracted, because we also, a lot of times, we've had discussions about not being distracted about what's going on around you, not allowing it to detour you off the course or the path that you're on. But when I'm talking about paying attention, or when the text is talking about being alert and of sober mind, we're talking about keeping your eyes open. Whether you're talking about in the physical sense while you're out in public, or just in the general sense, sometimes we're just missing things that are actually key points or key situations, key instances that occur because our eyes are closed. We're not paying attention to anything. Like, we're not trying to see it. We're just not flat out and just not looking. We're not looking at what's around us. It's almost like when you think about crossing the street and you just think about closing your eyes crossing the street. How safe would that be if you walk across the street with your eyes closed? You're not looking at anything. That's probably dangerous. Why? Because there's stuff coming at you. And granted, it's not even like the cars are meant to attack you, like they're trying to attack you on the road. But if you're not paying attention, if you're not looking as you cross the street, you're probably going to get hit by a car because you're not looking, you're not paying attention, you're not being attentive. So you want to keep your eyes open, but you also want to keep your ears open. Practical example again, we should have working smoke detectors in our home. We should have them. Just want to put that plug out there. We should have working smoke detectors in our home. But let's just say, like, you're not paying attention to that either. Maybe, you always got something in your ears. You're not paying attention. Walk around with your earbuds all day, or, the smoke detectors are going off, but you're not listening. You can't hear it. Or it's just so loud in the house you can't hear. The smoke detector could be going off to let you know that something's about to happen, put you on alert, that something is alerting you, that something is going on, is smoky or something, could actually be a fire. But if your ears are closed, you won't hear it. So that's why we're talking about paying attention. You have to keep your eyes open. You have to keep your ears open so that you can actually be cognizant of what's going on around you. Not to be distracted, but to be aware. There's a difference between awareness and being distracted. Being aware is that Being distracted is that, oh my goodness, I'm just all the way over here now when I'm supposed to be doing this. So we have to be aware. But this talks about being a sober mind. This is a huge one. Being a sober mind, because let's face it, a lot of times some of us are just not sober. We're just not sober. Whether we do it intentionally, usually we do it intentionally. Let's just be honest. Usually when we're not sober, it's intentional. Like, we try to not be sober. Yes, I'm talking about sober in the physical sense of not being intoxicated by anything, but then also, just being, again, we're talking about being alert, being sober-minded, so you can think clearly. But in this vein, don't try to numb your senses. Sometimes we do it, again, intentionally. We want our senses to be numb because either we're trying to cope, we're trying to mask something, or we're just totally exhausted and overwhelmed. So we just want to be numbed. And I'll just say this too. A lot of times we're trying to do that, but we really need to be paying attention because there's still something that we're supposed to be doing, or still something that we need to see, or something we need to hear. But because our senses are numb, it dulls the sensation of what's going on, what we're supposed to see and what we're supposed to hear. And now maybe we kind of heard it, but we can't hear it the way we were supposed to. And then there's this roaring lion prancing around, but we can't hear it. We can't see it because we've numbed our senses. So people of God, people, we need to pay attention and watch out. And again, this is not just about something trying to take you out, but this could be about some things that we need to be doing, some things that we need to be forging ahead on, or things that we need to see to help us. Sometimes we're waiting on God to tell us something, or we're waiting on, how I'm going to make our next move. Last week, we talked about it being time to do some things for our Thursday thought, but sometimes we can't move forward because we haven't seen anything, we haven't heard anything, because we were numbing our senses, and there's been some things that we needed to see that was kind of going to guide us on our path, but we didn't see them because we numbed our senses. So we need to watch out. If you're alert, sober-minded, and yeah, it's hard to be alert sometimes. I know first thing in the morning, some of us are not morning people, not the biggest morning person, but then again, I'm not a night person either. I'm probably more like midday. Midday is probably my strongest part of the day, but I still have to be alert. What's going on around me when I'm getting my kids ready for school in the morning and dropping them off and doing all these different things? I have to be alert. I have to be sober minded. I have to be paying attention to what's going on to make sure that I can get what I need to get done safely. Of course, there's going to be stuff that you can't see. We praise God for keeping us, protected from danger seen and unseen. But sometimes we would see them if we were sober minded, if we were alert, if our eyes were open, our ears were open, we're not numbing our senses, we're watching out. So I want you to kind of consider today, what are you missing? Is there something that you're missing? Is it some small details or some big detail that maybe you're missing because you're not paying attention? Sometimes we actually ask God for signs, and he does give us signs sometimes. They're actually clear. It's like red flag, green flag, yellow flag, whatever it is, or it's a word, or it's this, or it's that, or he sends a person to say this or say that. But we're missing it because we're too busy focusing on something else, or we're just not flat out not alert. We're not sober minded. So we're actually missing out on something that maybe God is trying to tell us or God is trying to show us because we're not being alert. So I just want to encourage you this morning. Don't miss the next play or you won't be ready to make your next move. It's like being in a game. I love practical examples, like being in a sport, and you're on a team and the coach calls a play, but you weren't paying attention to what the play was. So then you don't even know what you're supposed to do. Your eyes weren't open. Your ears weren't open. Maybe you were numbing your senses by doing something else. You weren't watching, so you missed the play. So you weren't ready. And then you messed up in the game. So this applies in every area of life. It definitely applies. So I just want to go back as we wrap up. Our mood today is pay attention. Pay attention. Pay attention. Our motivation comes from 1 Peter 5:8 in the NIV. Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. We've got to be alert. We need to be vigilant. We need to be paying attention, sober-minded. This is a good word to just focus on for today as we embark upon this new week. Let us pay attention this week. So our tag for Purpose Journey Counseling is to be loving, to be kind, be compassionate, and be intentional towards others as well as yourselves. So let that sink in too. We say that every time we're together. Again, I want to put this out there because actually it's this upcoming Sunday, just like that. Boom. Our rescheduled day for hashtag from a Christian, hashtag from a therapist with Dr. Natatu, episode 7, Conquering the Holiday Blues, is this upcoming Sunday, December 18th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be live, Lord willing, this upcoming Sunday. So we ask that you please join us, and please also invite someone to join with you as well. So we appreciate you so much. Just want to say again, thank you so much for joining us. I have not done that in a while. Look at that. Oh, Grace. There we go. Tomorrow. I haven't done that in a couple of weeks. I haven't, I used to do it all the time. But so we do thank you so much for joining us. And Lord willing, we will see you tomorrow for Tuesday Talk, live at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just want to put this back up there again. Let's just be encouraged this morning. And remember, our mood today is pay attention. And our motivations coming out of 1 Peter 5:8. If you can't remember the whole verse, let's just focus on that being alert and of sober mind. Let's focus on that today. So again, we thank you so much for joining us. Have a marvelous, magnificent Monday, and blessings and love.